A new mode, Jacob Orbital Elevator, has been added to the challenge stage and is said to be of even higher difficulty. Would you be interested in taking on the tower? Jacob Orbital Elevator is a track elevator of a series of stages. While the difficulty increases with stage level, players also get better loot. Sounds good. Those are already intriguing me. However, characters you use to challenge Jacob Ladder will accumulate fatigue, and the character stats will fall as fatigue increases until the character is no longer able to challenge it. Oh, great. One of those modes. But there's no need to worry, because all characters' fatigue will reset on a daily basis, and you'll be able to challenge the tower once more. More than that, when you use specific characters' weapons to challenge a stage, you'll receive bonus effects that you can use to your advantage. Okay, and this goes health. Okay. Oh, this. Wait. Oh, it's a year-long challenge. So once I clear this once, it's just done. I'm probably not going to be able to clear it like at all, but alright, I'm not clear what the different levels there are and how that's gonna pan out, but okay. Good, normal, exhausted, weakened, great. Penalties apply on character abilities. When fatigue sets in, the degree of reduction increases with its progress. Deployment is unavailable or weakened state. After a stage has been successfully cleared, the specific character which was used to clear the stage will gain fatigue, which rendered incapable of battle or challenge over time. Characters are directly applied with weakened state. All characters who have fatigue will undergo a reset on the next day. While boss mobs of this mode have more HP, the damage dealt in each attempt can be accumulated, allowing a hunt via numerous attempts. Oh gosh, okay. So if I just lose, then that character's out, and you bring in your next character. Yeah, that's... Stage effect can enhance certain characters' weapons, making the stage much easier. The challenge mode of Jacob Elevator will be used. The combat power designed by the system, the players can still freely choose characters, weapons, chips, and locked passive skills will be activated. Okay. So, challenge is unclear. Hard is hard, normal is normal. Gosh, okay. So this is very much not what I thought this was going to be, but okay, I guess. So, start at the batteries. Okay, well, start at the bottom, work our way up. Who is the bottom, though? Doesn't say anything about weapons being locked, so this should be fine? Question mark? There's no way I'm going to sit here and just record all of this, though. This is too much. Sorry? Okay. Right, that's your voice line. Okay. This is not too bad. Granted, this is stage 1, so of course it isn't, but... Probably could have come in here with way less impressive weapons. Just fine. You're gonna make me move? Trying really hard. Could not quite do it. Oh, no, okay. Is this a time? Am I waiting for the timer to run out, or is there flatly an end? The timer is ticking down. Okay. So you just have to get to the end. It's not time. But there's a time limit. Oh gosh, then that means if you're not doing them as damn stage clear, lols. Okay. Well, I'll take your X shards. That's fine and dandy. How much energy does this cost? Any? I guess none, because it's determined by character. Okay. I mean, I'm liking the rewards. I would like more of these, certainly as well, because, you know, as you can see, I don't have in the thousands anymore. I can't imagine how that happened. Oh, that took down... Okay, no, they have 3 pips, so okay. Yeah, go on. Should have swapped weapons. I should have. It's fine. Ready? It's not the button I meant to hit, but it's the one we hit, so I guess we're just gonna accept that now. Should really start dodging those. That would be good, maybe. Whoop, okay. He's slowly walking the tools. Yep, okay. So far, so good. So yeah, each of these is a bit unique, I guess, then. Oh, okay. I moved on my own, so I was taking a minute to be like, okay, what's this? Okay. You need to do that for the stage clear, huh? Okay. Whatever. Alright, well, I guess we could keep doing this. But not right now. I'm gonna come back to this. And I guess we'll record as we go and stuff, but not right now. don't have... Okay. That seemed more or less identical to the normal stage. It was just scaled up to my power level. I feel like that's what we were looking at there. And we don't have our ultimate abilities in that mode, I noticed. So I couldn't heal myself. That was not fun. Yep. Switch like increase the damage up by equals characters attack improving the launcher. Okay, so launchers are good here. I'm gonna run the same character just to see if her health stays the same. I know her power will have dropped or something, but okay. So this is Metul stage. Yep. Okay, so they otherwise follow the same logic, it's just the difficulty scales differently. Oh, and her health did go back up. Okay. Important question answered. God. Just... Nope. Okay. Cleared. So, if this is more or less how these go, you know, obviously I haven't done hard mode yet, but I'm going to assume it follows the same logic. If that's the case, then really, once we've seen this content once, then you've seen it every time. Though this probably means challenge is realistically the easiest version to beat then, right? Since it's holding to your power level. Whereas I assume hard, normal, and hard are just going to scale up and up and up and up. Because they have recommended power ratings. And challenge doesn't. Okay. So, I mean, it's an interesting mode. I just, gosh, having to sit here now and like, record all of it feels like a pain in the ass. Gosh. Doesn't seem to require energy to run either, right? So... let's give him an actual gun, please. Yeah. Let's see how much weaker you actually are. Since we didn't quite get back to this. Now your cooldowns are going to be lower. Oh no, flying. This is not a good stage for you. All your stuff is on the ground. Well, I mean, I guess his laser beam goes wherever it wants, as long as it's locked on. So that kind of pans out. Oh dear, okay. That is coming from below. That is not appreciated. This is 100 stages to sit here and record through. Goodness gracious. Yeah, so we're definitely doing that another time, but, oh, that's a question. Can we, like, backtrack to... We can backtrack to stages we've already cleared. Granted, we only get clear rewards the first time we do it, so there's not a lot of point beyond just if I was going to record it like that. So your battery's dead. Try out hard mode just to see how it compares to, say, the challenge mode then, right? Because it still looks like it's a set total power, so it should be, what I'm expecting to see here is exactly the same stage as before, so the guy's going to spawn right there, yep. And then it's going to be dodging these guys. And since our total power is so high, we're just not taking damage. Okay, versus challenge mode, we were definitely taking damage. So challenge mode is ironically the most fair and balanced version of this mode, is what I'm taking away from this right now. It could certainly swap that out on me at any time, I imagine. But at least on the surface, that's what I'm getting here. Okay, well, that's more or less confirmed then, and then I'll go ahead and finish showing this off just because we started here to begin with. And wait, I do have my ult here. So did I just only not have it in challenge mode? I didn't even notice that when I was back in the easy mode. So okay. We don't have that in challenge mode, so I guess that's also a difference. Interesting. Otherwise, it would be a great way to just farm a bunch of these elemental crystals, which I could really use right now for reasons. LOL. I don't know if that's going to be enough. Yeah, I don't know what more to say about this right now. Like, I guess I'll set up to record these, but I don't think I'm going to do commentary. And if commentary becomes necessitated, I'll just do it in post. Okay, so you know what I was thinking would be a great, terrible idea that I should definitely not do? Do an arena tier list. And I found one. So, sure, let's do it. Not all of these are in the game. I'm just gonna skip most of these, but I'm gonna do the ones I'm aware of, because hey, you're watching this dumb video anyways. I may as well give you some like useful information. Alright, so, like, here. How about I just put all these that aren't actually available in F right now. Okay, so I've thrown all these guys in F because they don't need to be here. They're not playable. They're not in the game. Yeah. And then everyone else down here, with the exception, I'm not actually sure about Rock and Alley, but I'm pretty sure they are available in some capacity. You just have to work for it or get lucky. But I also don't know anything about them. So here's, let me add a second row here as E. That's just going to be my, you know what, I don't know anything about them. I could look up their stats and abilities, but I've never seen them fight, so I do not know what they can honestly do. So, this is what we're left with. These are either the characters I have or the characters I have fought. So let's just start with your basic. X, right? I should really define what I feel like these levels are. But I'm going to go and tell you now I'm going to put him in B. Why? Well, I mean, he's your basic bitch. He's going to get things done. Like, I feel like I'm going to mark C as, like, super average, and B feels like above average. A feels like, you know, these are the characters that are going to get things done, and S is the overpowered, obviously. So, I mean, X kind of lives up to his starting title. He's a B rank average counter. Like, what does he bring to the table? He's got a charge shot, and he's got his missile shots. With some skill buffing, you can get some extra damage, some extra effects out of those. It's not a huge plus or minus, but it at least gives him some relatively effective, just throw it out for some extra damage hits that, you know, if you're actually trying to make something out of an arena run, then he can get things done. He's not the best at any of it, but he'll get things done. I'm going to also, I should have prefaced this already, so let's just do it now. This is assuming, making assumptions based entirely upon the character. Any one of these characters can become a much better character just by providing them with an appropriate weapons loadout. Weapons are an entirely different animal and add huge strengths and weaknesses to any given character based entirely upon what you equip them with. Since there are so many options there, and I don't have a tier list for that ready to go, I don't know what to tell you. I could give you some basic tips if you actually wanted them, but like, a lot of it's going to come down to playstyle and preference. With X, you're better off going with ranged options and staying away from people. Because, I mean, I can already tell you right away that, like, melee range is kind of king in this mode. People are going to try and get in your face and just smash you with things. And a lot of characters need to get close in order to hit you with their special abilities. So, there's going to be an immediate kind of draw towards anyone who's got some melee focus. X doesn't have that, so you're going to want to throw ranged options on him and play keep away. Like, that's your strat. That's all you've got. I would rank X higher based on those potentials if his shots weren't so small. Like, that's the other thing he's got kind of going for him. Based on the auto-aiming nature of this game, it can be pretty easy for his shots to just miss from his, like, actual special weapons that he has. Axel is the next character that most people are probably going to get. I feel like he's just average. Like, he's not terrible, but he's not any good. Like, his big shot attack requires you to get in somebody's face to use it, and half the characters that are going to be in this list you don't want to be in the face of, because they will immediately turn around and destroy you. Like, he's not invincible during that attack. He's just going to stand there and throw out a bunch of damage, and it's decent damage, but there seem to be other characters that can do way more than that. His dodge roll is just perfectly useless. You could potentially play some pretty good keep away with it because he is invincible during that roll, but beyond that, I don't really know what to tell you. Like, I've seen someone come in with like a pair of spray-based weapons and alternate rapidly between them, and then throw out his damage ability, staying in your face like that, and that did just tremendous damage. So I know he has some synergies there, but compared to other characters that can just get in your face like that, he doesn't stand up. So I mean, there's potential there, but he is base average at best. Layer. Sorry, Palette. I can't remember names now. Palette. S tier, lols. I am going to put her in A. I am going to put her in A. Does she belong in A? Probably not. This is very much a bias based on the experiences I've had with her because I've used her primarily in the game. And I think there are two things this hinges on. One, nobody uses this character in Arena. They come in with their X's and their zeros and their ferrums and shit. So nobody really sees this character coming, and nobody seems to know what they can do. That's like one of her primary advantages. Her other advantage is she has a straight up stun. It's a huge, wide area, expansive stun. It's very difficult to avoid if you time it correctly. The drawback to it, though, is that while it is a stun, it also basically just leaves you wide open after you use it. So if you miss, you've fucked yourself. If you hit, you've still kind of fucked yourself because based on like lag issues I've experienced, by the time you recover from the attack, often the person you've stunned has also recovered from the attack, which is basically just to say that the stun doesn't last long enough. There may be ways of increasing that, which could up her viability, but right now I'm just not seeing it. The other strong point she has going for her is just her other ability, which is to hit you with the arrow. It doesn't do a lot of damage, but she can just kind of spam them out while firing, has been my experience. So you can kind of supplement your damage while also ensuring, based on the effects of that arrow attack, that you are reducing damage of your opponent and giving yourself a stronger chance of actually staying alive. And since she basically hangs in the air when you're firing that weapon, you can jump over a person's head, and if you get the right angle, the auto-targeting doesn't seem to know what to do, and it's very easy to evade shots. Just like it's easy to evade melee attacks when they're slashing, expecting you to drop back to the ground, and you don't drop back to the ground because you can just keep spamming the button and stay in the air, which is kind of hilarious, but it works. This is a character whose usefulness is going to plummet over time, and compared to most anyone else that I would put in A rank or higher, she's a joke, but she competes shockingly well against most matchups. The only things that I have definitely never won with her against are the two characters that I'm definitely going to put above her, and that's kind of it. The next character I've unlocked was Marino. I'm going to put her in B. I would like to put her in A. I feel like she has strong A potential, but at best I can just put her in B right now. Her star throw is not good. It's not good. The best thing she has going for her is her dash attack, which she's invincible during. There are a few characters that have similar effects, like Armor X has an invincible dash, but it's like really awkward and vertical, so I don't really recommend it. Or Zero's dash through people, obviously that. Beyond that, she doesn't really have as much going for her. Like, that is like kind of guaranteed damage you can use to reposition yourself with the dash, and then kind of turn around and drop more shot attacks on people. I don't really recommend. I feel like I really wouldn't recommend going melee with her. She can do it, obviously, and the dash gives her an out. But she also feels like she'd be much better as a keep away. Her ninja stars could use some improvement if there's a way of speeding them up to keep her from being stuck in place while tossing them out. There's probably some better potential if you get right in somebody's face and just hit them with all 3 stars. That's going to do some damage. But otherwise, yeah, I mean, I feel like there's just not a... She doesn't bring as much to the table as I thought initially. She's definitely a good starter when you're just getting going, but like, you're going to run into better options really quick, I think. Yeah. Zero. C. Possibly D. Like, I want to put him lower. I'm going to put him lower. Why? Okay. Why is he worse than Axel? Because Axel can kind of run around and do his shit and then keep going. Zero can't. Zero is going to stop what he's doing to punch the ground and send out that air wave, which, you know, is great for taking out like multiple enemies, but against a single target, yeah, you're going to hit with it once probably, and then you move on. Like, I feel like that move just isn't strong enough to justify hitting with it, right? To justify making yourself stationary long enough to make that hit. Like, you're leaving yourself open to so many different forms of attack. Exactly the same thing with the flame sword. It's too slow, and it leaves you just wide open. There's really nothing more I can say to it about that. Like, you have so many better options. I mean, pallet stun leaves her less vulnerable, I feel, than anything Zero does. And Zero's stuck in place for less time than pallet is. It doesn't come across to me as highly viable. Like, he's too slow. He's too slow. And in a situation where you could already be dealing with lag potentially, you can't abide that. You just can't. I'm going to skip to Maximo just for the same sort of rationale to say that, you know, he's not any good. Which is sad because, like, he's more or less on par with anybody else, but like, what does he have in his kit? He has his slashy attack. I don't know why Massimo's on this list 3 times, by the way. It's just that whoever made this didn't do a good job. Anyways, so he's got his slashes. That does pretty decent damage and then gives him a shield if you hit at least 1 time with it. But unless I'm mistaken, you have to do that on the ground. And a lot of people are going to be jumping around you or trying to stun you while you're on the ground with melee abilities or anything of that sort. So I feel like there's a lot of vulnerability he sets himself up for with that move for not enough buffing potential afterwards. Like, in PvE, it's decent enough. It does its job. In PvP situations, though, I feel like it's just not... It's too long, you know? He's in that position for too long and leaving himself wide open to too many different attack options for not enough of a gain afterwards. And then his laser, his big laser, that's just a huge no. Like, the first time you fight a Massimo and you don't know what he can do, that's going to catch you off guard just because it can go through walls and stuff. Like, that is one of the few attacks in the game that I've encountered that will definitely hit you through a wall, right? There are certainly some other weapons in like the spray categories, the lightning gun that can clearly hit you through walls. But as far as like character abilities go, most of them hit a wall and just stop. That laser will go through anything, apparently. So that's an easy thing to get caught off guard by the first time you see it. Every time after that, once you see it coming, just evade. You maybe get hit by it once if you just didn't see it coming. Then you evade, you get around it, and then you just have free reign to smack on this guy for the rest of his firing because he can't move. He can't redirect the beam. It's set. That's no good. And someone does it better. But we'll get there. So I mean, yeah, I want to put him in C, especially if we're like comparing these two to one another. I actually think Massimo is better than Zero. I do. I think he's definitely better than Zero. But you know, this is kind of the situation we find ourselves in. First Armor X. Solid B. I want to move him up to A because on the surface he feels like he should be a direct upgrade to X, but he's just not. And the reason is because he loses something in transition, right? His Buster Charge shot, way better. 1,000,000 times better. Definitely worthy of a push up the ranks. But then what's his second ability? Oh, it's the headbutt. It's terrible. Like, I think you're supposed to be invincible during it. That's handy. But you've got next to no chance of hitting anybody with that thing, right? And then your recovery after or if you miss, that's gonna be a huge no. Like, you're not gonna be able to get away with that. It's kind of like trying to hit with Zero's Flame Sword, right? It's too slow. It's too obvious. It's very close range. There's just not enough use for it. His Buster Shot is great. Huge benefit. Puts him above definitely everybody else. Puts him above his base form for sure. It's impactful. It's harder to dodge. It's very easy to land. It's definitely a good shot. But what's his other option? Jack. So I want to put him higher. I just can't. I just can't. Yeah. Aelia. I think she's a solid B as well. I could probably see some arguments to move her up to A, but I've only fought a couple of her, and so what I can tell from that is she has issues landing her shots. Actually, you know what? She has a lot of issues landing her shots. I'm going to have to move her to C. Alright, so here's why. She's got her two abilities. One is to fire a big missile. That big missile is going to do a lot of damage if you can land it. If you can drop it in someone's face, that's going to be good damage. But if you're firing it from a distance, that is the easiest thing in the world to dodge. Like the first couple of times I saw it was used against me, I thought it was a regular weapon. And I was like, oh wow, that's a bad weapon. Because I dodged it real easy. Like, it's very easy to get around. But, like, if you could land it, it's a pretty good shot. And I believe it's got some debuffing abilities attached to it. And her Flame Wall, that's also a great area control ability. Especially if you're someone working in melee. But it's slow. She has to sit still while she's doing it. And then once you see it coming, if you can just back off or jump over her, get around it, it becomes worthless. I think you can put it through walls, which is a potential tool, especially if you're fighting in well, any of the areas where you've got kind of a wall between you and your opponent before they can reach you. You could potentially put up a hazard zone where they have to either wait or time their abilities a little, their jumps a little more to get to you. So I mean, she has potential, but not enough, I think, to push her up higher. By all the logic I'm doing so far, I feel like it should bring Marino down, but I don't know. This is a very amateur list. Understand, right? I'm no professional. This is just my opinions. This is the best I can give you. And again, everything from E down doesn't count because I don't know Jack. Layer D, easy D. Y. What does she have? She has a laser beam that she's never going to hit you with. Unless you're one of these other two characters, or maybe Aelia, who is throwing something out that is leaving them completely stationary, or even Axel. Then you're just not going to hit with that. there's too much of a wind up, too much of a delay. She has to stand still during it as well, it seems like. It's just not good. And then you have her slash attacks. The initial slash is a good swat. The follow-up slash attack seems a lot better, but it's all melee. I'm thinking through some of my upcoming things, and I feel like I might actually move her up to C based on some of my prior assessments. She might be a C, but like this very much requires you build her into melee. Like you would have to go melee with her, I feel, to get like the most use out of those abilities, because they're all melee abilities. They're very close range. If you're running a build that can make a lot of use out of that, then yeah, you'll probably get good use out of her. But again, just kind of like this has come up before, there are way better options. But Lair is a much more accessible character, so you're more likely to have her. So if melee is your strat and you get her online, might be the way to go. That's the best I can give you right now. Protoman. I'm just going to put him in F. I'm going to put him down in here in F with the other guys. I've used him. I haven't fought one of him, but I've used him, so I know what he can do. What can he do? Here, I'll be nice and put him in E. This is an official E at this point. He's trash. Straight trash. What does he have available to him? He has the same buster shot basically as X. This is why I'm putting him below these guys, right? This next part. Right? He has the same sort of shot ability as X, so okay, decent enough poke. What's his second ability? He powers up his shield and he stands there and he doesn't do anything for like 6 seconds. So if someone's just standing on the opposite side of the shield and shooting at you and isn't bright enough to, you know, go behind you or just get into melee or whatever, then okay. But what can you do while the shield's out? Well, you can charge up your shot, your poke shot, and nothing else. You can't move, you can't dash, you can't jump, you can't fire a weapon. You are stuck sitting behind the shield. Now, maybe there's some upgrades to this shield I haven't seen yet that will make it more viable, but on the face of it, no. If you get yourself a Protoman, cool. Take him through PvE, have fun. I mean, I love him. He's Protoman, but he does not bring a lot to the table. He just does not bring a lot to the table. I'm going to move these guys down here. Sorry. Roll. D tier. Why? Actually, no. I'm going to put her down here with Protoman. Why? Well, she's got a nice sweep attack for melee, which kind of mirrors Lair's in a bit, especially since it then has a follow-up move where you then do your mop sweep. I feel like this probably works really well in certain PvE stages, but against in a PvP scenario, this is just not good. It's just not good. The first swipe isn't the worst, but it's got a wind up. It's very much like Zero in that capacity. It's got sort of a wind up feel to it. It's not very quick, but it's at least functional. And the follow-up mop sweep is just kind of, I don't know how you would ever land that against a human being if they're able to move, you know? There's maybe potential there, but I don't know. If there's some upgrades to it that would let you like stun or anything like that, okay, but like on the face of it, it's just no good. And then her second ability is the Eddy Call. This is better than Protoman's Shield, but what does it do? It freezes you dead in place for 3 to 4 seconds while Eddy teleports in, tosses you an item, and then leaves. Now you have control again. And now you have the Eddy item that you can use as a quick consumable, throwable, whatever, because he gives you an RNG item. There are certainly times during a match that you can make use of this potentially, like at the very start where you have time before your opponent actually reaches you. You could do an Eddie pull, get a quick RNG item, hope it's a good one, and then roll into battle while your enemy has just died and you're waiting for the next spawn in. That's a time to call an Eddie. If you're respawning and the enemy has decided to go run off into a corner somewhere to find a health pack, this is a time to call an Eddie. But short of those rare moments, I feel like you're not going to have a lot of use there. And actually, come to think of it, I think X has an almost is it X or this guy? I don't know. I really should have looked these things up beforehand, but I feel like one of these two has basically that exact same mechanic built into them. And if that's the fact, yeah, I wouldn't be able to recommend that. It's just not, it's not ideal. It has some uses, especially if you get like a good like energy regain that you can just pop while you're in a bad spot, but you're also roll. So unless you're just coming in there with really good weapons loadout, and then you just get lucky with your Eddie RNG, I just don't. When you're going into a PvP situation, RNG is just the last thing you want. I mean, RNG is the last thing you want in anything, but definitely in an arena fight, just no. Vile. I was told when I came into this that Vile was like easily top tier because he has a stun. He's not. He's a solid B. He's maybe an A, but I feel like he's a solid B. So maybe based off the different things I've been showing off so far, I think it's probably fair to go ahead and put him in A. Now, why? He's got his grenade kick, which is basically like a way quicker, don't need to charge up anything buster shot, right? It's probably not as strong as a buster shot, but it's quick. He can throw it out there. He's got 2 of them. It definitely travels faster than like X's missile. It can reduce defenses. So it definitely has some synergy potential that would elevate him a fair bit, I think. So yeah, fair enough. I'll go ahead and leave him in A. If for any, only to have somebody other than Pallet in A, for God's sake. But then like their bigger shot is like, okay, the stun shot, like the stun, that's the big one. That's the hit. The problem with that is like, yes, you're right. If you can hit with that stun, that's a good stun. It can apply some debuff potential, or rather some self-buffing potential versus the stun character if you're upgrading your passives. But the biggest problem I see with it is it's avoidable because it's a range attack and it's not very big. As Pallet, again, because Pallet is generally who I play, I have dodged that shot on several occasions very easily. Whereas Pallet's stun is just the easiest thing in the world to hit. Vile's is not the easiest thing in the world to hit. If you get it, great. He's going to serve you well. He's going to give you a huge set of openings if you can land his attack. So, I mean, yeah, he's definitely good. He's definitely up here. I'm going to say he definitely belongs in A. Especially compared to anybody else I've gone through so far, he'll get the job done. I wish he wasn't such a good option because I don't feel that great about Vile, lols, but he definitely has potential. And I can see you getting good use out of him, so fair enough. Vile's good. Black Zero. He probably should be an A for the same reason as both of these other 2 characters. He has a stun. He has a very potent stun. It's a dash attack. He does it really quickly. It's very similar to Marino's, only his stuns. So if he lands it, he's going to stun. He's going to have done a huge amount of damage with it. Like, again, it's hard to gauge sometimes how fast your health goes down.
but half the time it feels like he lands that attack, he's done half your health bar of damage. And I feel like that wasn't all coming from the dash attack, but he still takes a pretty good chunk off of you with that attack and stuns with it. So if you're landing that and then can just turn around with melee and just lay into somebody while they're stunned, this guy gets pretty quick kills. His area attack is exactly the same as Zero's, has all the same drawbacks, so I wouldn't recommend using that at all. That's one of the reasons I want to drag him down to here. But based solely on that slash, that stun slash, which initially I thought you had to be on the ground to land. You don't. You can pull it off in the air, which is a huge advantage. So yeah, I mean, he is what he is. Like that move is ridiculous. I can beat him. I've beat him several times with pallet, just because I don't know. It's one of those things where there's feel like the built-in bias of the Zero player, and you see this character and you go, oh, yeah, okay. But like once you know what this character can do, very similar to Vile, it can be pretty easy to dodge this attack if you just know it's coming. If you can bait it out and avoid it, oh, well, they're wide open. At that point, they may as well be other Zero. They've got nothing on you. But if they land it, you're in trouble. And like it cuts through a lot of other things. Like I've hit one of these Zeros with Axel's big shot ability. His dash will interrupt my ability and cancel it. Like that's huge. Like anything like that, they can just cancel somebody else's ability. That's huge. So yeah, he definitely is an A, like no question. Ferrum, this bitch an S, no question. Like I don't have her. I can't tell you what her moves do. I just know that when she uses them, you lose. Now, the one saving grace of this is that her abilities are full on melee. Like she basically just puts up a huge aura of don't get near me or you die. And if you get near her, you die. So if you're playing any of these characters that want to get near somebody to use their special or do their damage, or you're running a melee build, unless you are also Ferrum, you don't want to be anywhere near Ferrum. The best way to deal with this character is to stay away from her. Just kite her around the place, because she wants to be in melee. And you do not want to be in melee with her because she will destroy you. Like if you can stay away long enough to time that main ability out and then get in and do some damage and then get out again, okay, fair enough. That's some counterplay, but that's counterplay. If you're not ready for it or she's just on you, yeah, there's no real dealing with that. You just die. You just die super fast. It's hilarious. There's really nothing more to say. She just kills people. She just kills people. Armor 2X. I think this is Armor 2X anyways. I don't know. I've only fought against with two of them. One of them was in co-op, and I couldn't tell what the hell he was doing. Like, I feel like, based on what I've seen of him, I feel like he's a C. Like, I think he also has a buster shot like these two do, but then he has some sort of giga crash, right? So again, he may be right here, but he may also be right here. So I'm going to put him here just because I don't have the information to really confirm. His giga crash may do some damage, but it sure as hell leaves him wide open. And if you're just kiting him, I mean, it covers a pretty wide area. So, I mean, it would be pretty difficult to kite. But, again, I just haven't had enough experience, so I may be calling this wrong. Feel free to call me out on that, I guess. But I wasn't seeing a lot of good from him. He got wrecked pretty hard in the co-op match I was in, and I was just like, wow, okay. I really expected more from you, and you ate shit left and right. So I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't strike me as being as powerful as it probably should be. But that's something to maybe reassess later on down the line. Cinnamon. Cinnabon. Cinnamon is really difficult to read. I probably should have taken a look at her abilities before doing this, just to give you a better readout of what they do. Like, when you see them go off, especially the big bright one, where she stands still and is covered this huge, that feels like a heal. It feels like it's meant to be like a group heal, even like this is a co-op character. Yeah, so like I do not know what this character does or can do. I just know that if she chooses to fight you, she can and will win. Right? She has some manner of buff mechanic to her, at least defensively, if not also offensively, that keeps her alive, keeps her protected, keeps her in the game. And I don't know how to fight her, right? So, I mean, versus any of these other things we've seen, it's like she doesn't really have a huge, like, I'm going to hit you with this or I'm going to stun you or anything of that nature, but she will stay alive. So if she chooses to fight you, you're probably going to have some troubles. And if she's got a good loadout behind her, she could be a real problem. So it's possible she could go way up higher on this list. I just don't feel like I have enough information right now. I don't have her. I can't test. You know, all I have is my battle data from Arena, and if she just stands there and doesn't do anything, then yeah, she's easy. If she chooses to fight you, you are in trouble. If you're Ferrum, I guess you're fine. But if anyone else, you may legitimately have a problem with this character. She may be another secret palette. Like, I don't know. And you just go here. I'm not even joking, right? I've fought like 3 of these so far. At least 3, maybe 4. All of them have 3-0'd me. And again, I'm playing palette, so, you know. But it kind of operates on the same logic as Ferrum. Don't get near them. But I mean, there's no range that this character is not viable at. If you get near them, then they're going to use their ability that is most like Axel's, only fills most of the damn screen and just does a tremendous amount of damage. If you're far away from them, they can just use their ability that is like Maximo's beam, but way frigging bigger and harder to dodge. Their abilities are huge. They're extremely difficult to avoid. If you're anywhere near this character and he throws this stuff out at you, you're almost certain to get hit by it. Like the beam, you can definitely get past that beam the same way you can get around Maximo's and start laying into them while they're not moving. But it's much more difficult to avoid than Maximo's is. It's going to go through walls just like his does. So that ability has so much potential. And then once you're near him, okay, well now he can just open you up like Axel and just throw out a huge wave of area surrounding damage. It just deletes you. This character deletes people, okay? That's all there is to it. If you run into this character in Arena, just put down the controller. Like, if they're not there, then okay, run over and kill them, you know, because they're just running through the motions. But, like, if they're trying, I don't know how you counter this character short of the same character or Ferrum. Like, I'm sure these two can fight each other reasonably well. But, like, if you have anything below this and you come across this guy, you're done. You're done, which is another reason I really fucking want them, because it's hilarious how broken he was. Like, He wasn't even healing. He really wasn't. I never managed to kill. I have not managed to kill this character yet, at all. At all. And I tried. I legitimately tried. You know, because my first instinct on any of these characters is, okay, I want to see what this character can do. I want to see how well Palette counters them. You know, I want to see how well these weapons work against them. Should I be ranged? Should I be close? You know, because again, I'm not an arena guy. I'm not trying as hard as I can. I'm not try-harding this shit, but I at least put in the effort, especially since I need at least one win a day, and there's no guarantee that out of the 10 that you need a day is going to actually just sit there and let you kill them because they're idling or their connection is terrible. So if you're looking for a win, if you're looking for a rank climber, if you manage to get this stupid character, you just win, right? As far as things are concerned right now with what's presently available, if you have this character and you're going into arena, you just win. I would probably have said the same for Ferrum. She's just because she's really difficult to deal with. But I don't see a counter to this character right now. I do not see a counter. As more of these characters that aren't available yet start opening up, we might see some counters amongst them. But right now, he's too much. And due to the drop rate, like so few people have him, I still don't have him. I don't expect to have him by the end of the event. I'm going to keep trying, but the event's probably going to be over by the time I publish this. Oh, my sad droopy face. So again, like, this is basically all the characters available right now. I know this guy's available, but I've never seen him used. So he may as well not exist. I'm relatively certain that these two characters are also available, but I've never seen them in arena, so I just don't think anybody has them yet. Or at the very least, they're not taking them into arena. So I just have no way to judge their abilities right now. I could go and check their, anyone could go and check and see like what their abilities say they do, but until you're able to test them out or see them in action, that's not super worthwhile. And all the rest of this is just, again, not available, so I don't know. But as far as these things that are definitely available and that people are using, that's my best analysis so far, right? This is basically your lineup. Again, these three may be different, but I can't tell you. I couldn't tell you. I feel like this character will probably be a C or a B. They'd almost have to be. If they're not, I will be really upset. But I feel like X will definitely, I mean, regular Rock will almost certainly be here. Wait, you know what? I know what he can do. He has that leaf shield. He has a shield. If this character is available, he's almost definitely, at the very least, B, right here with Cinnamon. Because he seems to be invulnerable with that, and it seems to do damage to things he walks into. So he might even be a Ferrum. But it's rare enough right now that I couldn't tell you. But he might actually be another secret OP that just hasn't seen the light of day yet because not enough people have him yet, at least in the American servers and whatnot. And again, this guy should be good, but I don't know yet. I would expect him to be in this area at the least. If this shield works the way I think it does, he's easily right here. Easily. But I don't know. I'd have to try it out and see. So for now, I'd say at the very least, he'd be a solid B with that ability alone. Allie, don't know anything about him, so I can't say. I feel like they will probably be C or D, if only because they're more easily accessible for players. So, anything that you don't have to like actually cash out for, I feel like is going to be down here. Well, anything that you need to put in effort for is, pay money for probably is that seems to be the way of things right now, right? That could change, but for the moment, that's been the experience. We'll see how it evolves from here. So, all right, that's my TED Talk. Thanks for coming. I'll see you on the next one. Bye. Hey, so quick little update before this goes live. Little day of editing. I just want to make a few adjustments here to this list to show you where some things have changed, just based on my recollection and or actually reading some abilities. First thing I'm going to point out is that I've moved Cinnamon down a slot, just because, again, I feel like she's not as effective as I was originally pointing her out to be. I believe all of her buffs and debuffs still make her really hard to kill and just make her effective. But I also realized that one of the things that I think threw me off the last time I was fighting one of her is that she was using the Sting Chameleon chip on one of her weapons, and I didn't realize that was what was happening. I thought it was one of her abilities proccing. It was the Sting Chameleon chip, which was making a huge damage blocker bonus to like everything else she was doing. So I mean, hey, if during that last event this past week you got a lot of Sting Chameleon chips and you've leveled that up a bit, and you want to slap that on Cinnamon, it clearly synergizes with her really well. Go for broke. I wouldn't doubt if the other defensive buff chips don't also help her a lot, but just on a character individual basis, without taking those things into account, I have to move her down. So there we go. Super Megaman, I think he's in the same spot. I don't know. I'm really having trouble with that one. I feel like he's got just enough of what I'm looking for to move him to A, but since he doesn't have a stun, I held off. It's like I feel like he should be an A, based on the abilities that he appears to have and what he can do. Because why didn't I put Armor X, First Armor X in A? I didn't put him in A because his secondary ability wasn't any good. Super Mega Man's secondary ability looks really good. So, and then otherwise they've got the same like Charge Buster sort of mechanic, only possibly a little better than, you know, X. So I really should have moved him to A. I'm just going to call this graphic wrong and say he should be an A. I'm sorry. That's on the fly decision at this point, but to hell with it. I also moved roll up because, as we've addressed in like a video you're going to see in a bit, I realized some things about how her moves actually work, how she's invulnerable during her eddy call. She may be invulnerable during her mopping. I've already forgotten now. There's so much for me to keep track of right now. But basically with all that taken into account, she's definitely better than I initially labeled her. The RNG for the eddy call is still kind of meh, but she's better than Proto Man. On the note of Proto Man, I looked at some of his passives, like some things he might get in the future. Eventually, if you get him to high enough star level, you can upgrade his shield effect so that he will have like an actual huge damage buff reduction shield that will potentially make that character useful if you just need to kill time for a bit. But on the face of it, and as he comes out of the box, no, he's a character that would definitely need a lot of work, and even if you put all that work into him, I feel like he would be a C at best. So yeah. I also put Mega Man up there next to Ferrum because Mega Man basically does everything Ferrum does. Kind of. It's not exactly the same. His shield is a lot more defensive than hers, but it still does damage. So you could pretty easily toss something for a melee build onto him and just run in somebody's face in the same way she does and do pretty well. He may not do it as effectively as Ferrum. I still think Ferrum, in like a mirror match between the two of them, Ferrum probably wins, especially if you're going for melee build, because because Mega Man is still clearly aiming more for a ranged assault. But by that same token, then he's kind of got a bit of both worlds there. He can handle ranged just as well as base X, And if he wants to go in for a melee build, he can do that a lot easier than X would. So yeah, he's really good. I think he's going to be really good. I haven't got to fight any of them yet. I haven't seen any in arena, which makes me sad because I feel like this would be another one of those quasi-broken characters. But, you know, there you go. We also made a few other assessments about Ultimate Armor Command Mission up at the top there. He's still broken, but he's also not available right now. So if you don't have him already, he's not currently available. So the best you can do is plan around him. And the best I could probably give you is, again, you got Ferrum, maybe you can fight him. If you've got Megaman, that might be your next best shot, because, you know, anybody playing right now is going to be able to get Megaman really easy, and at a high star level to boot. So that might be your route. Otherwise, like, anyone who can come in with like a really strong shielding effect, or again, like the Sting Chameleon chip effect, that could give you some survivability against him. Out of the stun characters, I feel like Black Armor Zero is probably the only one that would realistically be able to get in on that character and possibly stay on him well enough to do damage. But I still feel like Ultimate Armor X's damage is gonna outperform Zero in that capacity. There's at least some back and forth to be had there, maybe. But yeah, it's gonna be rough. It's gonna be rough. I don't think I have anything else to add. I took a little bit more look at how Armor 2X's Giga Crush and things work. And I think the problem there is that you would need to spend a lot of time in the opening volleys or whatnot to build up the Giga Crush before it's really useful. So yeah, that feels like more of a PvE ability, and it's just not something that you're going to be able to use quite as effectively, I think, in PvP. Pretty much everything else I previously opinionated holds. Nothing else has changed for the moment. Again, as more characters come out, that's likely going to change, but for now, that's what I've got. And yeah, that should wrap it up. Sorry for having to tack this on at the end there, but new information came to light, and I wanted to get that out there, so I'm not just posting this all as like, oh, well, he didn't correct himself, lols. Anyways, catch you later. Sorry, one more thing. Stop using this. Like, stop. Like, I understand the cheese strat. It's like, oh yeah, hit him with the poison and they'll take damage from the poison, so if they run away from you, they die. Yeah, that works. That's functional. It's a cheese strat. It's an idea. The problem is, this buster doesn't do the damage output, clearly, that other busters do. So even with that added applied effect, unless they are literally running away from you, or, you know, they just die after you or before they get to a health pack or something, like, this doesn't do enough. I'm killing people with the Mega Buster versus this thing. I will out-damage you. If you're not out-damaging me, then it doesn't matter that you're poisoning the shit out of me. I will be annoyed that you poison the shit out of me, but it's not good. Like, there are better weapons available to you. Busters, launchers, machine guns, even some of the sprays. They're not great, but they function, you know? Sabers seem to honestly do more damage than Buster. Because I mean, again, I'm using the Mega Buster as my, like, numbers example, but, like, if I compare the damage from the Mega Buster to the damage from the base Beam Saber, the Beam Saber does almost twice as much damage per hit than the Buster. So, I mean, clearly there's a bit of melee superiority in general here, but the Buster still outputs a lot of rapid damage, and it's pretty accurate, etc., etc. This thing doesn't cut it. I know it makes sense on paper in your head that this should be working, but it doesn't. I beat people every day with this weapon, with the goddamn Mega Buster. On pallet. Okay? It's not like I'm coming in with Black Armor Zero and winning with the Mega Buster. No, I'm coming in with Pallet, with the Mega Buster, you're coming with Armor X or whatever crazy nonsense character you have right now, and this stupid weapon, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Stop it. Stop. I'm sure it's still considered really high tier. I'm sure that's why you're using it. It's not that good.